Oluwaseun Adegbilero-Iwari is an associate professor in the Department of Community Medicine, College of Medicine and Health Sciences, Afe Babalola University, Nigeria. A statistician by training, her research focuses on biostatistics, predictive modeling, and the application of quantitative methods to address complex public health challenges, including mortality forecasting in developing countries. An accomplished researcher and educator, Dr. Adegbilero-Iwari has authored approximately 40 peer-reviewed publications spanning nutrition, maternal and child health, infectious and non-communicable diseases, gastrointestinal health, health services, research, and medical education. Through her expertise in statistical modeling and data-driven research, she continues to advance evidence-based healthcare and public health decision-making. Ladies and gentlemen, help me make welcome for a talk on when the p-value is not your friend. A round of applause for her.
Thank you very much. I want to start by saying a good morning to everyone here. I think I started within 2021 in a collaborative research with a group of scientists in anatomy, and we did a work on virtual anatomy education in a developing country. This particular work, if Dr. Eden can recall, took us about 3 years to get it published, but eventually it was published. We went on to work on pre-sacral space, on magnetic resonance imaging with a group of researchers also. It included Dr. Eden. Dr. Eden is when you talk about set theory and you're thinking of the intersection for all the 3 papers I'll be sharing, you keep saying my name and his name because we're involved in this work. This is currently in press, but it will be published very soon. It's a work now. And after Otundo gave that statement, Mr. Test of Hypothesis said, look, I'm going to put everything into 2 branches. One is called the null, and the other is called the alternative. The null is the hypothesis of no difference. And I'm going to write your statement as, treatment model doesn't have a significant effect on stroke compared to a sugar pill. The other, the alternative, Mr. Test of Hypothesis said treatment model has a significant effect on stroke compared to a sugar pill. Otondo felt he didn't have any problem, comparing what he had discovered with a sugar pill. Now, he had to meet a second person, a second key person, and that's Mr. Test Statistic. Mr. Test Statistic told Otondo, look, I work with samples. I don't work with an entire population. So you need to get me a sample. Otondo asked why. Mr. Test Statistics said, because a sample is actually representative of whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, Otondo went ahead to get samples, and he had to meet Mr. Level of Significance. Now, Mr. Level of Significance told him, I'm sorry, yes, you know why you need to work with me? I prevent false discoveries. I control error risk, and I'm also called type 1 error. And you need me so much because whatever it is you get from your sample, of course, because it's not the actual population, we expect some degree of uncertainty. And this error term or disturbance term needs to be measured. Okay, Mr. Level of Significance said, okay, after you are done with me, you need to meet Mr. P value. Otondo walked in to meet Mr. P value and was surprised to see a man with a very small stature. And this conversation he had with Mr. P value, you will see shortly. Yes. I'm sorry, Okay, now, Otondo started by asking Mr. P value, what exactly is your role? Mr. P value said, I am a value that tells you how unusual your sample results are given that your null hypothesis is true, Otondo was quite confused. And he said, how do you mean? And Mr. Pivalu said, I work by pretending as if your discovery is just due to chance. Otondo said, oh, I see. Mr. Pivalu went further to enlighten Otondo. He said, contrary to what some researchers think, I, Pivalu, I am not the probability that your hypothesis is true. I am not the probability that a study is correct. I am not, when I am greater than 0.05, the level of significance, it does not mean that there is no effect, and smaller p-values do not imply larger effects. But this is what some researchers actually think. Now, Otondo went ahead to ask Mr. P-value, but why are you so small? Don't you eat? Mr. P-value said, you see, I need to be smaller than Mr. Level of Significance before your discovery can be accepted in this market. Otondo said, but what if my value changes from 0.049 to 0.051? Will the biology behind my discovery really change? Mr. Pivalu said, I think you need to see Mrs. Adegbilero-Iwari, the statistician. So, and now that comes back to me. So, Otondo came to see me, and I had just a few things to tell him. Now, I stumbled on the publication just written last year by Patel and Green, and this publication emphasized over-reliance on p-values, the fact that the over-reliance on p-value has led to the death of many important findings. The emphasis, the over-reliance on p-values by many authors has led to many people, putting more importance on p-values, neglecting the clinical importance of their research, of course, which remains undetected, just because they rely on p-values. Instead of relying on p-values, there are really better ways to report our results. Some of us have been doing that, and some of us can still do better. So beyond significance, we can consider effect sizes, using odds ratio points D and so on. We can consider the use of confidence intervals. We can consider the use of hybrid frequencies and Bayesian methodologies. I had to use this during my PhD work on mortality modeling. The Bayesian approach is actually very robust when it comes to comparing models. You can consider the clinical importance of your discovery or your findings, and we should also consider the biological plausibility, not just designing computer models, but checking if these models actually align with physical and chemical structure of the brain or whatever it is you are trying to work on. So, the take home this morning is that the p-values are one piece of evidence, but not the final judge of scientific truth. Your p-value is not your friend. Thank you very much.